Okay, a few injury notes. Wooten had an ankle, Burns had a concussion, Sullivan had a shoulder, Henderson had a concussion, Verlaine had a knee, and Woods had a thigh. Tough loss. Give the Colts credit. We did not play well enough as a team. I thought our defense played well today. I thought we did a good job containing their run game, containing their offense in general. But we win and lose as a team. I thought, special teams wise, we had a few nice plays, but entirely too many penalties. I mean, you can't win football games when you make special teams penalties like that. And then offensively, obviously, it was a struggle. It was a struggle all day. Penalties and executing, so it was a struggle there. But the good news is that we play Thursday. So no one's going to feel sorry for us. So we got to get back to work. It's a quick turnaround. We got to learn from our mistakes and get ready for Thursday night football. Open it up.
Frank, 2 pick sixes in a 14-point game. When the defense plays as well as it does, how do you keep this from snowballing offensively, even though you are playing in a couple of days?
I think the character of our leadership will do a great job. They understand we're in this together, and and what I just talked to Bryce about in there is I said, listen, I've been a part of something over a lot of years. I've seen games like this many times, and it's not all on just the pick sixes. I know it seems that way, but we put him in a hard position a couple times. Obviously, Bryce has, he owns his share of it. We're all part of it. We're all part of it, so we got to do a better job.
Frank, was he tentative tonight, or what was the problem?
I just think we got off to a slow start. We were backed up a few times. I thought their rush early was good. They beat us. They pressured us early, and we just never really seemed to get a rhythm.
But specifically, what did you see out of Bryce? It was his worst game, pick sixes or whatever. What did you make of it?
I got to obviously look at the film, to see why. I was about to say to see what's his, what's that. I mean, the one thing that you don't do as a coach, this isn't about finger pointing, but you do try to find reasons. I mean, as you're saying, Joe, we're looking for reasons. We're looking at things that we have to correct. So that's what we do. We're not going to finger point. It all starts with me as the head coach. So we have to get ready to play, and we have to play at a higher level.
Frank, is there any part of you that feels that has entertained the idea of maybe sitting him down, letting him watch, going with Andy, or is it just something as a rookie you just gotta go through mistakes?
I suppose that's a fair question, but I can honestly tell you that thought's never even came close to entering my mind.
How's his confidence level heading into Chicago?
I think his confidence level will be great. Listen, I've seen this happen to the best quarterbacks in the history of the game. They all have games like this, and sure, it's going to be easy to say, it's easy to put it on the quarterback, but you bounce back. That's what makes the great ones, and it's a long road. It's a long road to, as like I've said this many times, the quarterback journey, developing into the franchise quarterback, it's a long road, and so we believe very strongly in Bryce. Coming into this game, I felt like he's hitting a rhythm and a stride. This is a step backwards for us as an offense. We were thought we had several games in a row where we're making good strides. And then when we went out and laid an egg today, offensively. So credit the Colts defense, credit Gus Bradley and their players, the way they, how they played us. We got to do a better job. But it was one game. And the reality is not that we were lighting up the scoreboard, but Bryce has been playing good football. This is one game, and so I'm not even thinking twice about it.
Does it make it especially frustrating given the way the defense played, where they only let the Colts in the end zone more?
Yeah, it does. That offense, had a streak going of scoring 20 points or more, 350 yards every game. Their offense was very explosive the whole year. They've been very consistent, and our defense came in and we did what we wanted to do against them. And did a great job. It's a credit to EJ and the defensive staff and the players. Played very good on defense.
Frank, besides the pick sixes, there was the flag on Xavier Woods on third down, lining up offside on the punts. Just the self-inflicted wounds, how kind of frustrating is that?
Very frustrating. Early in that game, we had 3 penalties that were devastating penalties. Two of them extend drives that they end up getting points on them. You can't do that. I mean, you can't do that and be a good football team. You know, we talk about those things all the time. We watch tape on it. You know, we talked about the things that came up. The things that came up, we've talked about. We sit in here in meetings, we show tape. You know, so as coaches and players, we got to figure that out. I mean, there's just too many of those mistakes. That's frustrating.
When those
Frank,
coaching
what was
points don't land though.
Excuse me?
When those coaching points don't land, I mean, when you're in those meetings talking about the very things that happen, just.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got to take accountability. You know, if you're the position coach and it's in your position, you feel like it was you who committed the foul because you got to figure out how else can I communicate it. If you're the player, you got to take ownership. If you're the head coach, you have to take ownership because you're in charge of everything. You're responsible for everything. So if you're the coordinator, you got to figure out what can I do to do my part to get these things cleaned up. Thought we had a couple game stretch before this where our penalties were down, where we were playing good, clean football for, I don't know, 2 or 3 games. It felt like that. I don't have to go back and check it, but I think last game we had 3 penalties. I don't know what we had the week before, but this was I mean, it was bad. It was really bad, penalty-wise.
Frank,
The
two
one
more
thing,
questions.
when you guys were evaluating Bryce coming out of college, you didn't really have much of mistakes because he didn't make many mistakes. Now that you're seeing him coming, and sometimes in bunches like tonight, anything you can put your finger on why that keeps happening?
It happens, you know what I mean? And I'm just not going to panic. And listen, I hate that it happened, you know, because like we said, the defense played well. This is a game, you know, we should have, you know, I feel like, hey, I give them credit. They beat us, but, you know, I thought we had a great week of practice and I expected us to win this game. You know, but offensively, it happens. And as a quarterback, it happens. I told Bryce in there, like I said, I've seen the best quarterbacks in the game have way worse games than this, way worse. Okay, so you don't flinch. In some ways, it's good for him to go through this. In some ways, it's good to kind of have to bounce back after something like this. So that's what we do. We learn. You don't like to fail, but when you do fail, it's not. If we really learn from it, and if we get better from it, it's ultimately put in the category of just another step to getting us where we want to be. And we take some lumps in the meantime, and it sets us back, but we believe in who we're doing it with and the way we're doing it. And so we're accountable for the results. It's a long season. There's a lot of football left, starting Thursday night.
Frank, what was the explanation you got on the roughness penalty on Xavier?
They talked about launching, you know, and thought that he hit him in the head and neck. And if he did hit him in the head and neck, it's a penalty. You know, I don't know. I'd have to see the tape. If it's launching, you know, launching isn't a penalty. Launching and hitting in the neck area, head or neck area, is a penalty. Launching and hitting in the body is not a penalty. So I don't know. I didn't see the replay. You know, but you know what I was told was that he launched and he hit him in the head and neck area. And if in fact that's what it was, then that's a penalty. If he launched and hit him in the body, then then that's one that they got wrong.
Frank,
One more
question, Mike.
Frank, to circle back to your answer before this, you said you want to get somewhere, you're working towards it. At this point, what's the identity of this offense through 8 games? And what do you want it to be?
We want to be able to run the ball. We want to be able to run the ball with our 3 core runs, run our play action stuff off that, our movement stuff. Listen, I'm not going to sit up here and give a seminar on, that's a fair question, Mike, but I'm not going to sit up here and give a seminar on how we define what our identity is. Obviously, we're struggling to find our identity. There's no question about that. But it does start with running the football. And I thought, you know, we showed flashes of that tonight. But then we got to be when you can run the ball, you need to be able to get some play action shots down the field and get some chunk plays. We're not getting that right now, okay? And then, you know, we have some things in our identity as far as who we are in the red zone that I don't want to talk about for competitive edge reasons. and how we approach the red zone. And then on third down in situational football, you know, we need to be able to be a team that spreads the ball around and does some, you know, unique matchup things, again, that I don't want to go into details about, that when you start defining how your identity is, that's the way we talk about it internally.
Thank you, Coach.
Frank, will the short week make it hard on Birds
Yes,
and Henderson?
yes.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.